What's up guys, my name is Romeo and I got with me my Smith and Wesson M&P15 Sport 2 AR15. Okay, first thing we do is unload so clear, nothing in the chamber, nothing in the mag well, guns on safe, pointing in the safe direction, so we're all good here guys. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of the Washington State assault weapons ban, and you guys probably already know from my last video, as effective of April 25th 2023 in my state, our governor, attorney general, all the Democrats, those bastards finally did it. They banned all these assault weapons. You guys already know the whole spiel, right? The AR-15s, AKs, pretty much everything, obscure stuff. The SKS, right? That's how you know it's a bad one. They banned the SKS of all places. So officially, in my opinion, we got the worst firearms ownership laws in the United States, period. Because you can't get none of this stuff anymore. You're pretty much limited to like handguns. During that time, I was on the hunt for some of my holy grail guns, right? Just some random stuff. I got most of them, but one of them was a FAL. I really wanted an FAL. And long story short, I found a place that said they had some in stock, made the purchase. Turns out they couldn't get it in time, couldn't get it shipped out in time. And so I didn't read the terms and conditions right. It was my fault. They couldn't get me back all my money. So I had to buy something, right? I looked through the inventory. Nothing interests me at all. So I thought, you know what? What would be more fitting than to have my last assault weapons purchased in Washington State be the humble, but yet proven and awesome Smith and Wesson M&P15 Sport 2 AR-15. And so I thought it'd be a good time today to make this video because I wanted to talk about, what makes this rifle still relevant in the year 2024. I know that a lot of people are still purchasing AR-15s like this, right? This model is not being discontinued anytime soon. And if anything, I think it was just 2 days ago, Smith Wesson announced the newest version of this AR-15, which is the M&P15 Sport 3, right? This is Sport 2, so they just announced the Sport 3. But back to the point. So currently in the AR-15 market in the United States, you literally got like a million different manufacturers making AR-15s. You can literally pick and choose whatever you want. And so there's a lot of ways to go about owning an AR-15 if you can still legally do so. But even then, I still believe that this is a really important variant of an AR-15 that should still be available, and a lot of people would still benefit from purchasing something like this. A lot of my videos, I always say the same thing. I want my videos to be easy for a new person to be able to watch and follow along. Something for a newbie to be able to process using easy to understand terminology, right? So that's what I wanted to do. Talk about the basic specs of the AR. We're gonna talk about the handling, the accuracy, just all the good stuff, right? Not too detailed, but you guys will get the gist. But the last half of the video, I wanted to talk about, who would benefit from owning something like this in 2024. Not everybody should buy one of these, right? Most people, I think they'd be better off buying like upper and lower, put it together. But having this available in your local sporting goods store or like whatever, outdoor store where you can purchase your firearms, it is still very, very important. It is an important thing to be able to go into a store and know that these are still available for the average Joe. All right, so last half of the video, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of owning something like this compared to the other options that are available in the current market. And yeah, so let's get into it. So when you get your M&P15 Sport 2, it usually comes in just a simple cardboard box that's padded with foam on the inside. And your rifle, mostly is going to be in some sort of like a plastic bag to seal it up well for storage. It'll come with a safety lock. And then I got mine with the 30-round PMag magazine, and they do make versions with a 10-round magazine for state compliance. I think Colorado, New York, places like that, you'll know, right? And then underneath you got your instruction manual, important stuff there, warranty stuff, so make sure you read over it. Okay, my specific M&P 15 Sport 2 model, this is just the standard version with the fixed front sight post right here, and mine came with a Magpul MBUS 2 rear sight. Okay, and sometimes this will be in a little plastic bag, so I just stuck mine on and zeroed already, but I just want to let you know this is how it usually comes. The model itself, there's many different versions of the M&P15 Sport 2. Some of them have no front sight post, and it'll actually have like a gas block like this with a Picatinny rail, so you can put a removable sight. Some of them have like different barrel profile. I think it's like a heavy profile barrel, and some of them come with a Magpul MOE handguard, which is actually really, really nice. And sometimes they have like B5 furniture. It's all the same gun internally, right? The important stuff as is. Okay, so let's take a closer look. So first thing we're going to talk about is the barrel. We got ourselves a 16-inch barrel chambered in 5.56, of course, right, standard AR-15 ammo. A 1 in 9 twist is marked right there. It's kind of hard to see, but the barrel profile is actually relatively interesting because you notice how it's sort of like a kind of a thick barrel right up here underneath the handguard. Usually it would be relatively skinny, but for the M&P15 Sport 2 ARs, they have a relatively thick barrel profile underneath the handguard as well. Muzzle is threaded half by 28, and right now it has a A2 birdcage flash hider, which is an awesome muzzle device. And again, my particular model is the standard version that comes with the fixed front sight base right here. You can see the elevation adjustment with the front sight. This is where all the magic happens. Gas gets siphoned from the barrel into the stainless steel gas tubes, which helps cycle the action. You got the sling swivel right here and bayonet lock. Lastly, the finish on the barrel exterior, the outside, and I think also on the inside, it's kind of hard to see, but the Smith Wesson calls this finish Armor Night. I'm not really sure if it's similar to Melanite or not, but all I know is that it's very good for corrosion resistance, because I'm shooting out here in the Pacific Northwest. We get a lot of rain, so I'm shooting this out in the rain. It's wet, no rust at all, no issues. That's awesome. And I think also hardens the metal a bit too. When it comes to the handguards, so you get these slim profile standard plastic handguards, which is actually pretty cool, because right now the trend for all the guys making retro rifles, like the old school M16 carbine, they use the slim, skinny profile handguards. But this is where Smith Wesson had to cut costs and cheap out a bit, okay? There's no heat shields in these plastic handguards. It's just straight up plastic. On standard M4 AR-15 style with the fatter handguards, and especially even for these ones, they can have heat shields, but these ones do not. It's a piece of metal right down here, and when you're shooting, it helps keep the handguards from absorbing a lot of that heat. These ones are just straight up plastic, right? So they had to cut costs somewhere. It's not a super big deal. We'll talk about it later. Looking at the upper receiver, right, which is the top half, you see a line separating the top and the lower. We got the pins here, everything all mil spec. Standard upper receiver. The upper and lower, they're made out of the same aluminum, 7075, so industry standard, nothing special there. Regular dust cover. On the top is a flat top rail for the upper receiver, clearly marked. And I already went ahead and put the rear sight on the rear position, got it zeroed as well. Brass deflector, forward assist, standard mil spec charging handle. When it comes to the bolt carrier, right, which is pretty much the engine of the AR-15, its cycles, I'm really happy that Smith Wesson never cheaped out on the bolt carrier. What you got is pretty much mil spec materials. The bolt carrier itself and the bolt head right there, made out of Carpenter 158 steel, right? Just same stuff as all the other AR-15s. On the outside is a phosphate finish. Again, a regular finish, very, very durable, corrosion resistant. And on the inside, it's kind of hard to see, but everything is chrome lined, including the firing pin as well. So awesome features there. Taking a look at the low receiver, it's just standard 7075 T6 aluminum, like I said. Magazine release, safety selector on the other side, and the trigger itself is a mil spec single stage trigger, nothing special there. But it's not like a really bad AR-15 as a gritty trigger. No, nothing like that. This one is actually pretty crisp, but it breaks pretty heavy, like around 5 pounds if I had to guess. Hold on. Okay, maybe it's more like 4 to 5, I don't know, but really similar. Not too heavy, but at least it's crisp out of the box. And I think most of them are probably gonna be the same way. You got your A2 grip right here, standard stuff with a mil spec 6-position buffer tube, and then the stock, just standard AR-15 M4 style stock with sling on the back. Yeah, main takeaway, everything is built right, and they didn't cheap out on any of the important components. Really, it's just the furniture. If I had to really say, it was mostly the furniture. And yeah, let's talk about accuracy, right? Took it out to my local range outdoors on a bench, 100 yards. I hate doing this kind of stuff. I hate sitting, focusing on like a small target, trying to shoot for these tight groups, but you want to know what the rifle is capable of, right? It's really important. It gives you a better understanding of what it can do, what it can't do. Let's see, what do we got here? This is from Wednesday, March 2023. Okay, makes sense, a month after after I picked up the rifle. Shooting Norma tactical 55 grain, just regular 2-3 stuff. But the Norma stuff back then, it was affordable and it was really accurate through my other guns too, my LWRCs. We'll see. Okay, these are weird groups. I don't know how I got these. We'll see. About 1 and 1.7, basically like close to 2-inch group. This is about 1.5 inch groups, 5-shot groups, 10-shot group in center here, right about 2 inches. We got 2.25 inches, 3 inch there. Okay, that's good. The normal stuff. What do I have here? Oh yeah, this is PMC bronze, same day. 5-shot groups up here. We got about 2 inch group, about 2.5 inch group, 3, and about, okay, oh, that's weird. 1, no, that's an anomaly. Okay, what else we got here? This is ZSR. Oh yeah, this is a Turkish stuff. ZSR, 55 grain. We got what, about 2.5, 1.5. PMC bronze again. Oh yeah, this was shot in this is shot in November last year. Bronze, 1.5, 1.5. PMC X-Tac acting weird again. We got 3, and we got 3 inch groups. Okay. So we did a quick unboxing. We briefly went over the specs of the AR15, and we talked about the accuracy. So let's talk about my favorite part of this rifle, which is actually shooting it. Guys, it's just a regular AR15. Right? There's nothing special about it. They're a dime a dozen. Most of you guys have probably already shot ARs. You know how they feel. This is just a regular ass AR15, but there's actually a good amount to talk about. I picked this up back in April 2023, and since then I put, I think, about 1,200 rounds through it. I know I finished one case of the PMC bronze, and then shot some like leftover steel case stuff that I always find somehow, and then just like shooting for groups at the bench and stuff like that. So I know I'm past 1K, which is not a lot, guys. It's not a lot, but that's not what I'm trying to prove in this video, okay? Because again, the gun has proven itself. There's like millions of people who own them, just millions of videos on YouTube of people just mag dumping through these things. The gun is fine, okay? So in all of my shooting, outdoors and indoors, no issues, 0 malfunctions. Shooting out in the rain, 0 malfunction. Shooting out in the snow, we don't get a lot of snow up here in the Pacific Northwest, but where I go, which is up in the mountains, higher altitude, we do get a lot of frost and snow sometimes, especially during like December to January. It's usually pretty frosty. No issues there. Rain is the main issue, right? So we're always worried about rain just messing things up, rusting things. So far the finish on this, on the outside is anodized. On the metal parts here, barrels, the Armor Night finish that Smith Wesson calls. 0 rust issues. And then more on the shootability, okay? So on the buffer, it comes with just a standard carbine buffer. I don't have good footage of it, but you know, shooting this, it ejects where it should be. Does it feel over gas? You know, honestly, just a tiny bit. And the reason why I know this is because on some of my other AR15s that I kind of fine-tune, not with the adjustable gas block, with the springs and buffer weights, I noticed that it's just a little bit of a sharper recoil, especially with the carbine length gas system, right? Carbine length, mid-length is like somewhere about like right here. Just a little bit makes a tiny bit of a difference in terms of the function, in my opinion. But even then, with the carbine weight buffer in here, the gun is perfectly fine. And you want it to be reliable, right? You want it to get that brass out of there. With this barrel that comes with it, it's nothing special. It's not some special like Douglas barrel, match barrel, nothing like that. It's not a heavy profile barrel, but it is relatively thick. And with 2 C's. So I was getting like about somewhere between 2 to 3 inch groups at 100 yards. So let's call it 2 to 3 MOA. Guys, that's very good for a regular AR15. But most importantly, that's very, very good for just a general carbine. Something that you can use for just general purpose. Shooting 2 to 3 inch groups, that is exactly what I want. It actually exceeds my expectations for what I would consider a practical self-defense home rifle, that kind of a thing. It's just a simple carbine. I'm not shooting bad guys out at like 600, 700 yards where I need my rifle to shoot a tight group. Nothing like that, guys. So in terms of the accuracy, I am more than pleased with the accuracy of it. Out of the box in this configuration, which is pretty much naked, no accessories, no optics, it weighs right at like 6 pounds. Maybe a hair more than 6 pounds, right about like 3 kilos. Okay, so the gun handles itself very, very well. And then most of the footage that you'll see me shooting, I just kept in this configuration, but I do plan to kit this out in a follow-up video. But the gun handles very well. Right. So really just the main takeaways I want you to get from this first half of the video. Number 1, the gun is very reliable. Okay, very, very reliable. The gun has to function. If this is something that you're going to use to defend your life, your family, and your property with, like, this is one of those rifles that I would consider be suited for that purpose. And a lot of you guys will too. All it comes down to is reliability. The gun has to work. And I know that I haven't shot this as much as some other people. Some people will say you gotta shoot, like X amount of rounds to prove that it's reliable. But guys, listen, you give me like 2 to 3 years from now, I'll put another like 3 to 4 thousand rounds through this. The result will still be the same. Okay, the rifle speaks for itself, and there's so many people who have proven that this gun is reliable. So it's just a standard AR-15. It's hard to mess it up. So we know that the rifle is good, but for the last half of the video, I want to talk about the important stuff, okay? Which is, how does this rifle hold up in 2024? And, to be honest, even beyond, okay? Because in the current market, for let's say $600, right? This M&P Sport 2, you can get it for somewhere between like 550 up to $800. Just depends on the sale, where you buy it from, Cabela's, whatever. I'm just gonna say $600. That's what I got mine for after the rebate. $600 in the current market. I would argue you could get a lot of AR for the money. In order to sort of approach this conversation, the first thing you always want to do is you gotta look at the competition. Okay, what could you get as an alternative to specifically the M&P15 Sport 2? What is available on the market? So right off the bat, the first thing that I would think of is you get yourself like a stripped lower receiver, or even like a complete lower receiver, and then you build it out however you like, and then you get yourself a complete upper receiver. This is a BCM upper receiver, and let's just talk about it real quick, okay? What do you get with this upper receiver? You got your mil-spec bolt carrier group BCM. You see a mil-spec upper receiver, but then this is where it sort of changes, right, guys? You actually have a aluminum slim handguard and rail system up top, so you can mount whatever you want. Got a grip, barrel. You got yourself a 14.5 cold hammer forge chrome lined barrel. Awesome. Whatever muzzle device you want. Got a radiant charging handle right here, and you don't even have to go BCM. Everyone and their moms is building some sort of upper receiver now that you can just purchase and have it shipped straight to your home in most situations, right? Palmetto State makes like a million different upper receivers. You could buy BCM, you could buy Midwest Industry. It's pretty much like Burger King. You can have it your way. You can literally find upper receivers specific to your liking and just purchase it and then slap it on a lower receiver. Another example of an alternative to the Smith and Wesson M&P15 Sport 2 is all the companies are making an equivalent to the M&P15 Sport 2 in no particular order. Okay, I'm just gonna name off some of the models that exist in the current market. Okay, Palmetto State already makes a million different kinds of just mil-spec AR-15, and you can get a lot of AR for just very little money. Costs less than this. Okay, you can get pretty much a AR-15 for about $450. Just get their Freedom line, upper and lower, slap it together, boom, you got yourself an AR for, I think, right at $450, maybe $500 max, depending on the sale, which happens literally every week. Aero Precision, shout out to Aero Precision down there in Lakewood. Okay, Washington State, I gotta give a shout out to Aero Precision because they're still in the fight. They have their AC15M line, so they're basically just mil-spec AR-15s, and all of these are going to be the same thing. They'll either have a carbine length gas system or maybe even a mid-length gas system with a fixed F-mark front sight post, just standard 16-inch barrel. That's all it is. I think FN, they call it FN15 mil-spec AR-15. Ruger has the AR556 model. Again, that has the weird proprietary front sight post. It's kind of bizarre. I don't know why they did that. You have Delton. I think they call it it's called the mil-spec line. I don't even know anymore. But Delton. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that in the current market, for the amount of money you might end up paying for a Smith and Wesson M&P15 Sport 2, or even Sport 3, now that that's out, you can get a lot of AR-15 for the money. You can build something that I would argue is more to your liking right off the bat, rather than buy this and then have to upgrade it. But that's not the point, right? And what I'm trying to get at is this. In the end of the day, for a person who's looking at their first AR-15, maybe the thing that they should be thinking about is not necessarily the features and the cool stuff and like building your uppers and lowers, none of that stuff. The regular guy who needs an AR-15, he just needs something simple. He just needs something that he can buy and right out the box lube it up, get a zero, and it's good to go. Sometimes less is more. In my opinion, the idea in which in most states in the United States, a young guy, right? Not me, but like a regular person, an average Joe, someone like you and me watching this video, that they can walk into some sort of a sporting goods store, whether it be like Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop, Academy Sports, Dick's Sporting. I don't know if Dick's Sporting Goods sells ARs, but this idea they can walk into some sort of a brand sporting goods store, and they have these AR-15s, Smith and Wesson M&P Sport 2s on the shelf, mostly at all times, and they can get in and they can walk out with this for less than, like, 700, 800 bucks, and now they got a solid AR-15 that will work out of the box as long as they lube it up and they zero the sights, or they have some sort of a sighting system. They got a little bit of ammo, got a couple magazines, and they're good to go. That's a very powerful thing to me. I see a lot of value in that concept, and to me, it's always about value. For me personally, I don't gain anything from having this sort of AR, because the majority of my AR-15s do have hand guards with rails where I attach lights. I have optics. I'm looking to getting lasers now that I have night vision. But again, a couple years ago, even 6-8 years ago, Romeo back then would have also benefited from something like this. The last thing I want to talk about is, where do we go from here? Now that Smith and Wesson released their new Sport 3 model, you can pretty much see you must see the new changes, right? Literally, they kept everything the same internally, and the main parts that are important, bolt carrier group, upper lower receiver, everything the same. The only thing they change is literally furniture. They have the new slim rail, and then they have a low profile gas block instead of having this front sight post. And it's weird to say, but when I was first getting into firearms when I was 18 back then, it was still normal for me to see guys run ARs with carry handles. That was still the norm. You still had the ABCs, which is the Armalite, the Bushmasters, and the Colts. And then it wasn't until, if I remember correctly, when I was starting to go to the local action shooting on Friday and stuff like that, I started seeing guys run quad rails. And this is this is way past Iraq and everything, but guys had quad rails, right? And you guys already know where I'm going with this. They had quad rails, and then the Magpul videos came out, and so now you guys got the full length rails. Travis Haley, Chris Costa, those guys sort of pushed the industry to adopt some of the new features. So now we're getting to the point where this is really, in my opinion, this is gonna be the last generation of the mil-spec ARs, because going forward, the trend that we're now seeing is, instead of getting something with fixed front sight posts with no slim rail, just make one out of the factory with a slim rail already installed. Which is also funny to think about, because in the end of the day, like I mentioned before, the majority of AR-15s, guys, it's all the same exact thing. It's just a standard low receiver, slim rail. You can put whatever accessories and crap you want, and then that's basically it. The most important thing is, when you aim at your target, you pull the trigger, it goes bang, sends that round flying, hopefully with solid accuracy, right? That's all it is. That's all AR-15s are. And like always, this video ended up being a long rant. Okay, so let's kind of bring it back for a moment. Okay, what did we talk about in the first half of the video today? We talked about, we did a quick unboxing of the M&P15 Sport 2. We went over the specs of it. We understand that the parts are quality parts. They didn't cheap out on the important stuff. Everything is well built. The gun itself is well built. We talked about the accuracy. The gun is very accurate for what I think its intended purposes, but you can still use it for many different roles. And in future videos, we'll actually kind of explore that. The gun is very accurate. The gun is very reliable, which is the most important thing, in my opinion. Reliable from my experience. This is a sample of one. You can literally Google M&P Sport 2 reviews, and there's 1 million of them on YouTube. All right, the gun has a proven track record. And then in the last half of the video, we talked about why the M&P15 Sport 2 is still relevant in the current setting, in the current market. Great option for new AR-15 owners. I would still recommend something like this. It just depends on what perspective you have and what information and knowledge you have going into to owning an AR-15. Right? If you're a complete newbie, you just need something to work. You look at this as a tool. You're not a gun person. This is a solid option. All right, there's not very much to it. It's plug and play. Right, get it, open it up, lube it up, zero the sights, get on target. You know, make sure you get some training in, and you can be good to go. You don't gotta play around upgrading stuff, changing out stuff, building stuff. You don't have to. But if you are like a little bit of a gun person, you understand just the basics of AR-15s. I would recommend that situation. You actually build out your AR-15s. You build it from scratch, or you just buy the complete lower, stick it on. Oh, sorry, build a complete lower, stick it on a complete upper that you either pre-made or you bought online. But thanks for watching my video, guys. If you made this far, I know I ramble a lot, but I do these videos because it's a good way to get a lot of these thoughts out of my mind, and then maybe some of you guys watching this, you're thinking the same thing as I am. You understand the importance of owning this kind of stuff. Yeah, guys, M&P15 Sport 2, it's an awesome AR-15, is what it is. Okay, but you gotta understand, right? Don't be cavalier with your finances. All right, there's a lot of ways to go about owning AR-15 than spending the $600, $700, maybe even $800, depending on where you are. On something like this, where you could have just put something better together for a little bit cheaper to your liking. Right? So, be smart with your money. It's all about value. Right? It comes down to value. As always, any questions at all, just leave them in the comments, okay? I'll get back to you soon. You guys already know that. But tell me this, okay, guys? What was your first AR-15? Like, what was the model? Why'd you get it? I want to know. I want to hear your thoughts, especially a lot of the older people that, it may come across this video. I want to know what it was like back then. When you were like a young guy and you wanted AR, what kind of things were available back then? Because I know the M&P15, the Sport 1 model, I forgot when it was released. I want to say maybe like 2012, something like that. It wasn't very long. The model, the Sport 2s were out the longest, and now they have the Sport 3. I know this has been out for years now. So yeah, tell me in the comment section, okay, what was your first AR? Tell me if the Sport 2 was your first AR. I know there's a lot of you guys out there. Tell me about it. And then last thing is, if you can, okay, you don't care about all the other stuff, tell me, how does your AR look now? Because I feel like most people, when they have this and they shoot and they like shooting and they become, gun people, they always just tear the gun apart and stick a whole bunch of accessories. Man, there's some cursed images out there. I've seen guys go ham, like they'll chop this front sight post, and they'll like just try to shove like a rail over it, and it's just kind of weird. You didn't have to do that to begin with because they don't want to like pop out the pins to remove it properly. I've seen guys buy this and then spend an equal amount of money just replacing all the furniture and everything when you kind of just built it from scratch to begin with. But yeah, just let me know, okay, guys? And just stay tuned, okay, guys? Because in the next video, I'm gonna do a follow-up to this AR. I'm gonna get it kitted out the way that I would do it from just average Joe budget perspective. We're gonna have an optic, we're gonna have a light, and we're gonna have a sling. So just a basic setup for this AR-15, the way that I think it should be, as just general use, general purpose, home defense, self-protection, that kind of stuff. Show you step by step, show you exactly how to attach the accessories, everything. Okay, that's gonna be the next video about this, because I want this to be kitted out. Just like you guys who have this, you guys should have it kitted out as well. Don't just run a stock like this. There's more capability you can get out of this. All right, thank you for watching, guys. Take care.